Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Retro Gamers podcast. The last episode, apparently, number 326. Larry here.
And Link here.
Look at Link just waiting to jump off the cliff.
That's
Like
right.
let me just end it all.
No, that is Link in his latest adventure, Legend of
Nah,
Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom,
nah, nah, nah.
which again is got some really solid reviews as we've talked about.
It
Uh,
has. I mean,
and
it is
I'm
beautiful to look at.
I'm very happy to be home and have my
Oh
copy in
yes.
my hand because I haven't been home for a few weeks.
No, Anthony finally back in his home
Yes,
situation, and now has his hands on Tears of the Kingdom. Is that a
that's
Tears of the
right.
Kingdom that was delivered, or one that was bought on the road?
No. It was delivered. I didn't.
Okay.
I didn't. I'll tell you, like there was a moment where I was gonna order it and have it delivered to my hotel because I just couldn't wait to play it.
That's awesome.
But I decided to wait until I came home. Uh, and to be honest with you, yeah, I've been home for what, a day and a half. I have not played it yet. Um,
I think it's still wrapped.
no, it's not wrapped.
Oh, okay, okay.
It's already in my
Oh,
Switch, and
gotcha.
I already
Yep.
downloaded it and everything. But you know, it's ready to go. I haven't started it yet because I I came home. I brought a friend home with me from my 3 week trip. It's a fun little virus, which is why I sound
Oh, there
funny.
you go. Well,
So
I was gonna
so
say, last week you were so like, "Hey, what's going on, everyone?" And this week you're like, "Eh."
yeah, this
I'm the
well
same way. Don't get me wrong. I'm feeling the same way.
this week I've been kicked in the throat.
Oh, that's terrible. I mean,
So
better than being kicked elsewhere.
yeah, I'm home recuperating before I get on yet another plane tomorrow.
Where you can start tears.
Yes, where I can start tears or I can continue in this endless stupor that I've been in for the last 3 days.
Well, I mean, if I don't know if you're paying attention to YouTube and some of the
Nope.
gameplays of Tears of the Kingdom.
Nope.
No, I'm not even talking about spoiler alerts. I'm talking about what's being created in the game.
Oh,
Um,
yeah, I saw one specific phallic
oh yeah,
thing that was created.
didn't take long.
Um, no, it was like the first day. I think it was the first day. But
Yeah,
outside of that, honestly, I haven't paid attention to anything. I've read a
which is
couple,
fair.
yeah, I've read a couple of reviews, but outside of that, I didn't want to pay attention to anything. I wanted to, it's like I want to go into this game fresh, not knowing
Hmm.
anything, and enjoy my experience.
As you should. So,
So I'm really looking forward to starting with it. My problem is obviously once I start it, then I will cut off all
oh,
radio contact
we'll never hear from you
for
again.
no, not until it's over. And
So,
the last game I put like over 100 hours in. So it was nice knowing you. I hope you can find somebody to fill in for a couple months.
oh man, I'm just double checking here.
Mm.
I can't see what Tears of the Kingdom is anymore. I think Tears of the Kingdom fell on Metacritic. I'm not sure.
What do you mean it fell?
I don't know. It
It
wasn't.
can't fall.
Can't find it on here.
Tears
Well,
of the Kingdom.
in any event, um,
Moving on.
yeah. Let us know what you definitely feel about Tears of the Kingdom. So,
Still
oh, there
ninety-six
it is. I found
percent.
it.
Yeah, still
Yeah,
96% on Metacritic.
yeah.
So
Interesting.
pretty
Mass Effect
solid.
2 better than Tears of the Kingdom. All right. So
We
definitely
we
let us
we
know.
talked about that last week. Let's
I
not get into
clearly
that.
thank you for ruining the joke. So we're here this week. We got some cool things to talk about, and my week was as stressful as could be, which ended on Friday. This past Friday, finally put everything to rest. But before we get into that, we actually want to introduce something new.
Hmm.
Shocking to the podcast. And me and Ant, we talked about this before. We've been kind of want to do something like this, and it's gonna be really cool because it's definitely something. As much as we love interacting with the audience and you guys and gals, you message us, we definitely talk with some of you. We have some great conversations with a lot of you email us and everything like that. And we want to do this where we want to see how maybe not matching up, but we just want to enjoy this world of gaming. Like I have all this stuff behind me. Ant has a lot of his games ready to go. So we're going to be introducing basically our game of the week.
Yes. And what that means is basically we're going to pick a game from anywhere in our retro library, a game that not like that, but a
It'd be
game
cool if I
that
picked it though.
yeah, not it would be funny if you did. We're gonna choose a game from our library that we both own. We're gonna play it that week, and then on the following week's episode, we're going to talk about that game, maybe get a little into detail about what we think of the game after playing it however many years later since we first had it.
Some of these games we might not have touched in forever. We just kind of thought about it. And also, for those of you as well, listening and watching at home, sometimes you may just be sitting around going, I don't know what to play. I don't know what to do. So maybe hopefully this kind of be like, oh, you know what? That's a good idea. That's a good game to play. So the first week, what we're going to talk about, and I think this is a heck of a way to start off. For the NES, we are going to recommend Batman from Sunsoft.
Yes. Not recommend, but we're going to play.
That's what I mean.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if you wanna play along with us, and you have a copy of Batman on the NES, pull it out, play it, and then you can hear our thoughts next week on it. Also, it's a perfect way to start our game of the week. Our game of the week stuff because it's officially summer blockbuster season, and what better way to start than with a superhero game?
And that's exactly how I thought about that.
That is not how he thought about it.
And of course, if you're inclined enough to be able to do so as well, and not all these games have a scoring system though, but definitely, take a photo of either your high score or like how far, like the furthest you got in the game. You can even take a short video if you want. Send it to us on our social media pages. DM us. You can email us the clip. We're more than happy to share all that and just to see, how everyone plays with it. And the reason why, especially when I thought about Batman, I just want to throw this out there. There's a band that tours the country called Bit Brigade, and they're awesome. We saw them at the Long Island Retro Expo a few years ago.
Yes,
and what they do is they'll actually like play the soundtrack to a game while someone's playing the game live on stage. It's really cool. They did it with Mega Man 3 when I watched it. And they've recently also they put out DuckTales, but most recently, like with the last couple of weeks, they did Batman. This
nice.
Batman.
Very nice.
Oh, and their version is amazing. You can find them on Bandcamp and iTunes and stuff. So check them out. But yeah, so play Batman for the NES and see what's up, and we'll check back next week about it. I am sure it's still going to be as difficult as it was when I first played it or way back when.
Yeah. Well, and it's going to be exciting to actually see or to compare with you how far each of us got, how what our high scores were. It'll be interesting to
exactly
do that.
So, and then one more thing real quick, just I forgot to, I don't think I mentioned this last week. I got a new game in the mail that I finally waited on. I think I talked about this. Garbage Pail Kids, Mag Mike and the Quest for Stale Gum.
Oh, nice.
Hey, Snow, we have a guest on.
She hasn't left me alone since I got home. That's what happens when you leave for 3 weeks.
Nurse you back, not necessarily to make you feel better, but just so she's guaranteed to get fed.
Yeah, basically. Well, also she just gets in. She just wants to be in the way,
of course.
So you may see a lot of white if you're
fair
watching
enough.
Video.
Get some look at that tail right there.
Yeah, just right in my face.
This is pretty cool. Look at that cart.
Oh, that's really cool.
That's the stale gum color. I didn't think it was gonna be see-through.
The stale. No, don't step on the keyboard.
Uh-oh.
She's like, shut off the podcast. Like, I want your attention.
So so I got that Garbage Pail Kids game. It's available on I think current systems anyway digitally, but it was pretty cool to get
and you did
copy.
Give me the digital copy.
Yes,
for which I am grateful.
Awesome. I like it. Yeah, it looks pretty cool. Plays fun. So check that out. Other than that, we're going to kind of get right into things here.
Yes.
And Ant, I know you had what is she looking at?
Hi.
She's staring intently at something. Oh, here we go. We're gonna get a shot here, folks.
No,
Holy
no,
cow.
no, no. It's all good. So
YouTube's gonna pull us.
yeah, let's jump into things.
So I know you had an interesting week. It was actually in the last couple weeks. But earlier last week when this drops,
Mhm.
it was finally announced after I don't know how many years, I can't remember anymore, and just people constantly berating them, to which point I don't think they care. Analog announced the Duo pre-order.
Yes.
And the pre-order dropped or started, I should say, May 19th. It was Friday, May 19th, 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Excuse me, 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern, where we are. And finally, five people texted me as soon as it was announced. Like literally, five people texted me. It's like when a wrestler dies. Everyone used to text me like it was a family member.
R.I.P. Billy Graham.
Yeah, superstar. But with this one, I got a bunch of people who like texting me going, finally, here we go. The Duo is ready to launch or pre-order, I should say.
Now, correct me if I'm
Yeah.
wrong, but the Polymega that you canceled, you could have been playing Duo games on that all this time, couldn't you?
Well, maybe not 100%, but yes, I
Okay.
at this time, like you can play TurboGrafx CD games right now.
Yes.
I know you don't have the module. I had the module on order, so I could have also played the Hue cards as well.
Correct.
So
which I can currently play on my Retro Freak,
oh, that's right.
which you also owned at one point.
But I didn't have a TurboGrafx game, so I don't know if that would not have worked. Like the Genesis port didn't work.
Oh no, it works fine. I can show you it works fine.
Oh, I'm not saying works. I meant designed properly. Excuse me.
It was.
Be that as it may. So yes, these are games I could have already been enjoying, but I canceled, and I don't regret it because again, you get what you pay for. And I've again, analogs. They're the Ferrari of these clone systems. You know what I mean? It's not emulation. It's playing right off the FPGA. And again, I even though I don't deep dive into that as far as emulation and not, but I have seen a slight difference. Actually, Batman is a perfect example. Like for example, when I had the NES, the Hyper, and this is not a shot at Hyperkin. I love them, but still, when the Hyperkin first put out their Retron HD, which is their NES clone,
yep.
And I'm not talking about the Retron 5, I'm talking about the standalone NES. I was like, sweet. And I remember playing, that was the first time I was playing NES games again in a long time. So I put Batman in. And I remember when I put Batman in, I'm like, I remember him being a little more purple, but I couldn't wrap my head around it because I had nothing to compare it to.
Right.
So it was later on when someone goes, yeah, that's not playing properly. And then I just happened to be, I probably had Game On. I put it into an OG NES. I was like, wow, that is different. So emulation versus, again, hardware. And then again, that's where analog steps in. So, and Polymega doesn't guarantee they play everything. So, where so far, the analogs have hit home runs on everything.
Right.
With that being said, when the Duo was announced, because I never had a TurboGrafx, we always talk about this, and it almost holds true because when I talk to other people about it, it always is the same thing. If you never owned a TurboGrafx, you knew one person. Yep. Everyone knows one person who owned a TurboGrafx.
Yes.
It was the weirdest thing.
And I fall into that category too.
Exactly.
I knew one person.
And with me and him, it's not the same person. We know two different, you know what I mean? Right. So like, because again, it's grown. This is before we knew each other. Yes. So everyone had a TurboGrafx, regular TurboGrafx. Then comes in the Turbo Duo, which adds the CD attachment to it and everything like that. Which again, the whole world of difference at that point, Sega CD, TurboGrafx, everything like that. So seeing how I've never owned a TurboGrafx, I was like, okay, something I always kind of wanted to own. And then a couple of years ago, probably right before the pandemic, I want to say, Analog announced they're making the Duo, which is their TurboGrafx with the CD, hence the Turbo Duo. So I'm like, sweet, this is going to be awesome. And what's even cool about it is, besides the fact that it'll play the games, it'll play the Japanese games as well. Not only that, but it will play the TurboGrafx CD games without the hue cards that you needed to boot up the CD. So if you have a Turbo Duo, original Turbo Duo, or even the CD add-on to the TurboGrafx, in order to play a CD game, you had to have the corresponding hue card to kind of like boot the system up from. Right. Very weird. It was almost, imagine the Sega CD, but you had to have a cart in the Genesis. Like you had to have a cart in the Genesis,
right,
to play it. So, and if those things were lost, if you lost the hue card, not every, you know what I mean? It's not like every CD game came with one.
Right.
You had to buy. So if you lost it, you're almost SOL at that point, especially back then. So this system will just play the games natively. The CD, like, you know, they're like the hue cards are built in, like, sweet. So I start collecting Genesis TurboGrafx games. And actually I did a very quick kind of live, Instagram live, where I talked about this. Like, here's my collection of TurboGrafx. And here, none of these are CD games. These are all just the hue cards that I've collected over the years. Some great games. And then my one CD game, which was from a Kickstarter.
Right.
And this is Ant's Fate.
So now you've been buying. Oh, that's the one with the raw. Yeah.
Yes.
If I remember correctly, I came to your house to destroy that
in the middle of the night. Apparently, I woke up. You're in my house. I'm like, what the heck?
So let me ask you a question. All those TurboGrafx games that you purchased over time, have you? You haven't been able to play them at all, have you?
No, I haven't. The idea was, I knew I was collecting them, knowing the Duo was going to be released.
Got it.
Expecting, though, it to be released in like 2020, maybe 2021.
Yeah, and so, here we are in 2023.
Yes, and the world had to shut down at some point. So now, finally, it was announced. I'm like, sweet, here we go, the Duo. And it's now, when it was first announced way back when, I don't hold me to this, but I'm pretty sure they announced it at either $189 or $199 US dollars.
Yep,
which was fine, good price.
Yep.
Well, since then, chip shortages and inflation and whatnots, now it is $249, which is still cheaper than an original TurboGrafx 16 on its own.
True.
So, all right, fine. Price aside, I'm cool with it. But here's where I actually started thinking to myself, should I get this? After all these years talking about it, waiting for it, I start to now question myself when this thing gets announced. Reason being, I have on order, and I think it's coming in October, the TurboGrafx 16 adapter for the Analog Pocket.
Right.
Which will just play the hue cards. Don't get me wrong. It will just play the hue cards.
It won't play the one CD game you have.
Yes. The only CD. Because, and we're going to talk in a little bit.
So you're literally right. So you're literally debating in your head, should I drop like $300 to play one game?
Well, no, because in theory, yes. In theory, yes. But not only that, but also just to have the system. It'll be another system to the collection. Again, I love analog, so
no. I get it.
I know. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, your answer should obviously be yes, because it's you. You're gonna drop $300. You're gonna play the one CD game for like 5 minutes, and you're gonna be like, and then never touch it again.
Well, the other thing was, because also Limited Run announced they were going to release an English, Western version of Rondo of Blood, right, Snow? You've played Rondo of Blood. Oh, there she is.
She's very excited about Rondo of Blood.
So, like an official Western release, official Konami version, Limited Run announced, so we're going to do that. I'm like, all right, cool. So I'd have at least 2 CD games to play. But nevertheless, in all reality, I'm like, all right, well, maybe I can save money. Not even maybe, because I was seriously like, okay, let's do this. I can save money. All right, fine. Maybe I'll sell off my Jim Power Mutant Planet game, and I could buy it on NES or Super NES or whatever. And then just play the hue cards off the Analog Pocket, which is perfectly fine.
Right.
Because I have the dock for the Pocket, so I can play it on TV and everything. But me being me, I'm like, I waited this long. So I went on Instagram Live and I asked the people, I asked you guys and gals, the fans, should I go that route? Should I go the route of the Pocket? Should I get the Duo? And actually, it was while I was on live, that's when it dawned on me that when that tail goes up, I get very nervous.
Just keep talking. It's all good. Pretend she's not here.
It was literally like you actually see me like the light bulb click.
The light bulb clicks.
Yeah, and it's a very dim bulb. Don't get me wrong.
You mean yes? You saw the light bulb turn on. You mean?
Yeah, click. Ding. Yeah, okay. Or click. We haven't heard anything from Limited Run about Rondo of Blood since they announced it a couple of years ago during one of their things, like their showcases, which everyone's doing now because there's no E3. Even though we were invited supposedly to an E3 thing in the email, spam obviously, and the
come to E3, we promise it's happening.
Yeah, basically, it'll be here locally here at a McDonald's. So I thought to myself, wait a minute, maybe
if I can get fries with that, I'm in.
McDonald's fries, Nathan's fries, best. So I'm like, you know what? Maybe now that the Duo is officially launching, now Limited Run will start to really advertise Rondo of Blood. Because otherwise it would have been a very niche system to make a game for, because not a lot of people have the TurboGrafx CD.
Correct.
But when they first announced it, it was near, I'm not saying they're working with each other, but it was near the time that Analogue announced the Duo. So it just seemed to go hand in hand.
Okay.
So I did the live, is what it is, and I kept debating. So, and not only that, but the pre-order went live while I was working. So that was going to be another situation. Challenge. An added challenge, because where I work, the Wi-Fi is terrible, and the cell service for T-Mobile, at least, is almost non-existent. So now,
so the universe was telling you basically that it's probably best that you do not purchase this.
There were definitely karma, probably, yes, was trying to slap me in the face, to wake me up, to be like, hey, schmuck, what are you going to do about this? So I went ahead, I took my lunch early, and I went downstairs to find the good Wi-Fi to get ready to pre-order the Analogue Duo. I do it. I go to pre-order it. My credit card declines the order.
So now your credit card, much like the rest of the universe, is telling you not to purchase this.
Apple was like, what are you doing? No, you do not need this. But because I have the Apple credit card.
Of course.
But Apple also makes it very easy to go into the app and just click a button and go, no, I approve this. I'm making this purchase, instead of having to call and all do that stuff. Because now I'm panicking, because in my head, this bad boy is going to sell out quickly.
Yeah. So now you're caught up in the frenzy of, I have to get this now or
panicking.
Else, even though everything else is telling you not to do it.
Panicking, I am at this point. Needless to say, in a ridiculous $34 shipping charge later, I pre-ordered and have on order the Analogue Duo.
So we can add the Analogue Duo to the list of systems you've had to purchase to replace the Polymega pre-order that you canceled.
But who knows if the Polymega might not have played this game, this the Kickstarter game, because Polymega does not. They even admitted
the word is might.
Choose
and you said it yourself. And you said it yourself. Now, like, you could have gotten that CD game as a Super Nintendo game.
Yeah, they released it on like all the systems.
Right, exactly. So you could have played that game in another manner. You purposely bought it as a TurboGrafx CD game with the knowledge that you might not ever be able to play it.
To be fair, I think when this Kickstarter kicked in for the Jim Powers, I probably had the Polymega on.
You probably had the Polymega on pre-order, so you were like, this is sweet, I'll play this on the Polymega. And then like a week before they announced that these things were going to ship, you cancel it.
But because I got better systems.
Technically,
Yes, actually, yes. Polymega runs off of emulator. These are not emulators.
that's
If
very
you want to,
true.
again, if you want to deep dive, and as much as I don't
Yes,
care
yes.
that much,
No, I know.
yeah.
I just like busting your chops because you probably spent 4 or 5 times more money.
Oh my God, agreed.
Yeah.
I had the Polymega on pre-order so early that it was for the system and all 4, 5, all the
All the
modules.
modules. Yeah, I know, because now I want to go back and buy the
Yeah,
modules, and it's definitely gonna cost me more.
it
But
probably the
but
pre-order for me probably was a little over $500.
yeah. So yeah,
So
because I think for me it was 300 just for the
probably,
base.
and now it's probably like 800 or something. I'm
I
throwing
think
numbers out. I have no idea.
I think it's somewhere around there,
Yeah,
or
it's
more,
a lot of money now,
or more than that.
and that's not even counting the N64 module. Which, look, of all the things, that's awesome. That's what Polymega right now has going for it.
I think that's supposed to be shipping in June. I'm supposed to be
Okay,
getting that
next
in June.
month.
Yeah.
I mean that's the way. And again, I know we can't. We gotta get Jack on here, someone to really deep dive about emulators and everything versus hardware. But they say the hardest thing to replicate hardware wise with that FPGA is going to be N64, PS1, things like that.
Right.
So that Polymega,
if they've accomplished it, then
well, they're doing it
them.
under emulation. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
But still, in any event. So now I got this bad boy on order. It's shipping this year, 2023. And now I can finally play my Hue cards. Look at that. A lot of cool games, one of which is an import only released only in Japan. Batman, speaking of which.
Yep.
And this is a weird top down. I don't know if anyone YouTube this version of Batman for the PC Engine, because it's totally different than any other Batman, but it just plays awesome. Almost looks like Bomberman.
Yeah, and well, there are a lot of games that were.
Yeah, I got some of the games that you got me.
That were Japan.
From Japan.
Yep. Yeah. Do you remember what that was called?
This is either Alien Crush or Devil Crush.
Yes.
I can't remember which one.
It's the less expensive one, because one of those was hard
Probably
to find.
Devil.
Yeah, one of them is rare.
Yeah.
So
no, I definitely got the games there. And then some of the other Hue games like Tiger Heli, Vigilante, I mentioned.
Right.
R-Type 1, just I had that.
Well, I'm glad you're going to be able to play them, even though you're going to get the Analog Pocket adapter from the
which is like the TurboGrafx Express.
Right, exactly. So now you'll have 2 ways to play TurboGrafx games, basically.
On the road and at home. Exactly. And I already bought a Hyperkin, because it doesn't come with a controller. So I already bought a Hyperkin TurboGrafx 16 controller. You can use a legacy controller.
Wait. The console that you just bought from Analog doesn't have a controller?
No, you have to buy it separately.
They're
all like that.
That's weird. For that price, they should at least throw in a controller.
Look, you walk in knowing Analog knows what they're doing with their pricing, meaning
no, and I understand
they don't care.
No, I understand that, but I'm just saying, every console you've ever purchased before from any company comes with a controller. Because I mean, how do you sell it? No offense, how do you sell a console where it's like, hey, here's a console where you can play games? Oh yeah, but we're not going to give you the controller to play the games with.
Because the idea is a lot of people already have the controllers, might have, because remember, again, a lot of these systems aren't hooking up to new TVs anymore. And sometimes it's better off to buy these newer systems just to get them to work on a new TV or a current TV.
I get that. I just think standard operating procedure for anybody when they release a console is to give you a controller.
It's the same reason why it's $34 to ship this thing domestically.
Yeah,
give me a break.
That's equally absurd.
That's insane. So
you're just throwing money away. Got it. At Analog.
I'm investing into it. Yes.
No. Throwing money away.
The shipping is throwing money at them. Yes.
Well, I think honestly,
but here's
money. But
here's the respect, though. They know that. They're like, yeah, we're charging $34. We know that. Like, all right, you know what? That's their stance. At least it's not like they're pretending that it's something otherwise.
True story. Well, now that we know that you have 2 TurboGrafx 16s on the way, essentially, in one form or another.
Kind of, but one's like a Turbo Express,
right?
And then the Turbo Duo. Yeah.
So now that you have both of those on the way, and do they have a set delivery for them? Like, did
they just said 2023? So
Okay, so
I'm
at
going to
least
assume the end of the year.
it's sometime this year, which is
Yeah.
good. So specifically, and we had talked about this before we started recording the podcast, I had said
Hmm.
to you, I'm like, I know you got TurboGrafx games, but the CD games
Specifically.
specifically are, since you're going to have access to that now, I had asked you like, what CD games are you going to get? And you kind of were like, oh, I got to do the research and stuff. So I thought what would be cool to talk about are some of the best TurboGrafx CD games that came
Mhm.
out. And granted, because I didn't own the system, I don't have experience with these games.
Neither do I.
Right. So I'm just saying, like, so our research is based on, what we find online in terms of
Mhm.
like, I went online and I looked up, best TurboGrafx CD games lists and stuff like that to try and pull some stuff, and keeping in mind your gaming interests, like what games you tend to
And
play
that's
more.
and that's also the thing, because the TurboGrafx is so they're so heavy on shoot 'em ups, which is
Exactly.
yeah. So
It's definitely a
mhm.
good system for you to have.
Mhm.
The fun thing about TurboGrafx CD, and while I was looking up things to recommend to you, was that for the TurboGrafx CD, there were 389 games released for the CD,
Oh fuck.
but of those 389, only 45 made it to North America.
Oh yeah, this
Yeah, so
whole
the
yeah.
North America list is incredibly small because, unfortunately, it didn't do well here.
That's the thing. Yeah, it
Yeah,
thrived in Japan, but you're right, it did not do
yeah,
well here. That again, we all know one person.
right. So I wanted to pull a few of the games
Hmm.
that most people have at the top of their list. Like I found some top 25s, top 50s, and stuff
Hmm.
like that. And I also tried to avoid looking at Japanese titles that would be impossible to play,
Like
like,
JRPGs and
yeah, like
stuff. Yeah,
JRPGs and stuff, because they're not translated.
true.
Um, so here's what I found, and I know you did a little research yourself,
I did
right?
and I'm going to do more research, because the other issue is collecting these games is very, very pricey.
Yeah,
These
it's
games are not $5 games in a used bin.
right.
So it's another investment. And as you announce some of these games, I'm gonna do a quick eBay search just to take a look to see
Okay.
what's up, see what some of the prices are, and kind of take it from there. So
Yeah. All right. So yeah, so I'm gonna start with this one, which and you can look it up on eBay.
yeah.
So the first one that popped up for me, outside of shoot 'em ups, because I know
Hmm.
shoot 'em ups are gonna be a no-brainer for you.
Yeah.
But this is an action RPG game called East Book 1 and 2.
Oh
Which
yes.
so East it's an overhead adventure game, has more RPG elements to it, and it plays a bit like Legend of Zelda with that
Hmm. Hmm.
overhead look. Um, it has very simple combat buttons, where it's just an attack button, I think. But it also had and this game came out in 1989, 1990.
This is a
Yeah,
late 80s, early 90s
right.
system as well. Yeah.
But and the cool thing about it, though, is even way back then, because this was a CD based game, it had cutscenes and voice acting, which, you know, very few games had that much detail at that time. If you go back and play RPGs and stuff
Hmm.
back then, and that's because of the CD format. You were
Oh,
obviously
100%.
able
Yeah.
to hold more about it. So this game is considered a must play
Hmm.
on TurboGrafx CD. So, and actually, it's a game that I've had on my list for a while, of
It's
ones I've wanted to play, but I don't have, I don't have it yet.
yeah.
I can. That's the other thing too. It's like I haven't really looked, now that I'm recommending TurboGrafx CD games to you. I'm kind of recommending them to myself as well, because I can play them on the Polymega.
You can, and
Yeah,
also this game happened to also come out on the DS anyway. But
true.
if now we're talking original, so
Yes.
um, whew, okay, so I highly doubt I'll get anything like sealed, But right, and I'm looking at like recent sold on eBay.
Mhm.
All right, you get your rare high end $235
Oh,
sold
geez.
for Yee's book 1 and 2.
What do you think of that, Snow?
What? I was waiting for her to like stare into the camera.
She's going to one of these days.
Let's see.
My
$115.
That's not bad.
$80. So we'll go on. So we'll say we'll give or take about no 153. Oh no, that's East 3. So we're gonna say I would say about between 80 and $120, give or take,
Mhm.
on average for this game.
Which to be honest isn't that bad.
Not bad. Hey, $50 for disc only. I can deal with that.
Yeah, no, that's
So
not too bad.
all right, not the worst thing in the world.
Not the worst thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next one that's on the list, and this is one of those games where think I don't think you need to get it on the CD, but again, I'm just trying to recommend CD games because this game is
A lot of things I don't need.
right. No, and, well, but this one specifically because there are so many different versions of this game that have come out on different systems. And we're talking about the puzzle game, Puyo Puyo CD 2.
Yes.
So if you haven't played the Puyo Puyo series, it's a little, I don't want to say Tetrisy. It's like the way Dr. Mario kind of was, where you get like two colored well, this one, these look like two colored blobs are coming down on the screen, and you have to match the colors up so the colors will disappear and obviously keep the screen empty. You don't want to climb up to the top, a la Tetris. And
Very I would say it's almost, if you want to compare it to a game here, it's almost like a Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine, maybe.
Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine is another way to put it. I thought Dr. Mario was kind of a good
No, as well. Yeah.
yeah. So and this also has a fun 2-player mode. So
there we go. Well, unfortunately, the Turbo Duo only has a 1 input for legacy controllers. But to be fair, so did the original TurboGrafx.
Well, but what's the point?
Well, you can plug like oh, why didn't I think of that? You can plug USB controllers into it, and now I'm wondering if they would accept the USB TurboGrafx mini controllers.
If they would,
something to think about.
Then you can cancel your controller.
Nah, I already opened the box.
Oh,
let's see. So, all right, this one's not too bad. Puyo Puyo CD. Well, I know you said Puyo Puyo 2, right?
It said Puyo Puyo CD 2.
CD 2. All right. Well, the first Puyo Puyo CD for the PC Engine, which would be an import, $26.
That's not bad.
Not too bad. Well, a lot of the PSP version keeps popping up here.
Mm-hmm.
But still, I'm gonna say this one's gonna be a little bit on the low end. Unless you want the Neo Geo Pocket Color. So this one's not too bad. I could probably get away with this one on CD.
Okay.
All right. Not too bad.
What's the price?
That's what I'm saying. Well, this was like, there's one here for $26.
Oh, okay.
Another one for like 15. But you said 2, so let me just do a quick search here for Puyo Puyo 2. And nope, actually, to be honest with you, just doing a quick search, I'm pulling up a lot of the Switch version. So I'm not going to get much on this one. But nevertheless, the first one, though, looks doable for like $25.
Okay. So not too bad.
I'm sorry. Now I'm seeing other games are starting to come up. So
of course. Well, yeah, now you're getting interested.
Double Dragon 2?
Interesting. All right. So moving on to some other games.
Mm-hmm.
Another game that popped up on the list. Again, kind of the tops of lists.
Yeah.
For TurboGrafx CD. Fatal Fury Special, which is another one I think you can. I want to say you can get that elsewhere.
I mean, a lot of these games have been re-released.
Yeah.
First of all, a lot of these are going to be on the TurboGrafx Mini. True. On the Japanese side, like the Japanese games that they added onto the. There's like maybe like what? There was like, I'm doing this off the top of my head, like 15 PC Engine CD games on there.
True.
And only like 2 North American CD games, maybe 3.
Mm-hmm.
But again, we're talking old, the original hardware stuff,
right?
And as much as I love digital, old stuff, I'll go physical. Right. Fatal Fury Special. Now that's a fighter. I'm not into fighters as much, but Also, playing a fighter with a 2-button controller seems maybe difficult. I don't know.
Well, wait, was Fatal Fury Special a fighter?
Yeah.
Like a one-on-one fighter?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that is going to be tough.
Here we go. Fatal Fury Special, PC Engine. Oh, all right. What, $38, $17.
Okay, so that one's
That's
doable.
not bad.
All right.
I can deal with that one.
Get moving on to your shoot 'em ups that you love so
Yes.
much, right?
Now we're talking.
So yeah, so first one that popped up was Gradius 2. And then there was a subtitle, of course, in Japan.
Yeah.
Gopher no Yabu
I'm
or
all
Yabao.
right.
I don't know how to say that.
Um, hmm. Okay. Just under 60.
Doable
That's
then.
doable.
Yeah.
Doable.
But I mean, Gradius 2 exists.
I have so many different versions of Gradius too.
Gradius 2.
Correct. This one
Okay.
might be just more of a one day. Oh, maybe I want to start collecting Gradius games.
Okay.
But that's not too bad.
Yeah. Now here's another one, which is here are a couple actually that I'm gonna throw at you.
Mhm.
Um,
But also, real quick, just to mention, like, yeah, I have Gradius 2 like on cartridges.
mhm.
Again, we're talking a CD game, which the music is gonna pop off of that. So
Right. Well,
another reason.
yeah, and that's the thing. So I think you'll like these two. Um, the first one is Gate of Thunder,
I was looking at that one.
and then the sequel is Lords of Thunder. Gate of Thunder was actually the pack-in game with the Turbo Duo in North America.
Really?
Yep.
That's interesting.
And it's considered one of the most popular games for the Turbo Duo.
So here's what's funny. The Japanese version sold recently for about $119.
Right.
The If I'm reading this correctly, the North American, no, this is still Japanese. Wait a minute. These sold for like $50 each and they're sealed. That's weird. Now, again, that 118 might have just been a abnormality and it was coming from France. So but still a Gate of Thunder. Well, I'm starting to see some high. Yeah, here we go. $250. Never mind. A buck 32. Yeah, this one's gonna be a high-end one. Gate of Thunder. Now, what was the sequel called?
Lords of Thunder. I find that interesting, considering it was a pack-in game in the US, even though the Turbo Duo didn't do that well here because it was a pack-in game. You would think that there were some hiding, there were a good number of them out there.
A lot of Lords of Thunder for Sega CD, which is pretty pricey. But here's what's weird. I don't know if this is maybe a title change for North America, but I did Lords of Thunder search on eBay and Winds of Thunder comes up.
Wind or wings?
Winds, WINDS, Winds.
Oh,
like
Winds. Interesting.
Yeah. Excuse me, and that's like $119.
Wow.
A couple again sold for like 50, which I think is just again abnormality. But yeah, 107. That one might be higher. Wow, I can't believe the Sega CD one is so much more expensive.
All right. Probably less quantities. So knowing you, those will probably be the two games you do buy.
Maybe.
I know you're shoot 'em up.
Grab this Winds
obsession. And then the last game that I found on the list is the obvious one that you already mentioned. And we're talking about Castlevania Dracula X, also known as Rondo of Blood.
That's not happening.
If you're gonna have a Turbo Duo, I feel like you just have to get this, and I know it'll probably cost you just as much as the system itself.
You know what? Funny enough, at least ones that were sold earlier this year, not as expensive as I thought they were going to be. Like $102.
Oh,
all right, here. All right, 160, under 200 so far.
Okay,
which is now all right. Here's a rare first print
which
for 300.
Which for you is doable.
That's for anyone who might budget properly. But
or anyone who doesn't and spends the money anyway,
like I do. Yes. So actually, this one's not. Oh, there's a reproduction CD-ROM. Ooh, we got reproduction. Now I'm curious. I wonder how. I mean, just in history.
A song just popped in my head when you said
that. We talked about like back in the day, I burned PS1 games. The apparently which I learned within the last couple of years, Dreamcast played burnt Dreamcast games natively
Yeah.
on the system.
Oh yeah.
I wonder how the PC Engine works with burnt CDs.
You're gonna have to do some
Hmm.
like you have to do
Now,
some legwork on
yeah,
that.
I'm not talking about throwing a ROM on. I'm talking about
Mhm.
actually copying a PC Engine CD to,
Right.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'll have to check that out. But in any event, Rondo of Blood not as pricey as I thought it was going to be. Again, it's between like 150 and 200,
Mm-hmm.
which for that game, not bad in all honesty.
No, not at
Um,
all.
so interesting. I'll have to check that out. But of course, if anything, I wouldn't mind the limited run version.
Yeah.
Because that'll probably be about like $60 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So because we're good friends now. So
Yeah, you are best
apologize.
friends with them. They didn't
Um,
apologize.
so yeah, so and then the final thing to think about, and I'm not going to go into details with this because I don't know a lot about it, is, and again, this is something where I'm not throwing shade at it. I don't think the Polymega works with like an EverDrive. So to get like, it almost might be worth it to just get the TurboGrafx 16 EverDrive, you know what I mean, to play, and then the ROMs and everything on that. So I don't know. That part I gotta think about, but that's down the road. But for now, some very interesting games. Yeah, Rondo of Blood, always the top of any list.
Of course.
And Gate of Thunder. And it's funny, I'm looking at a list here as well. Got some games. Puyo Puyo Tsuyu, Tsuu. I thought it was the number 2. I'm sorry, I misheard you.
No. I said it as two.
No, I know, but I was thinking of the
Yeah.
number.
But
I'm just gonna go
it's
back real quick. Yeah.
Tsu. TSUU.
All right, I just want to just take a quick look. So
Puyo Tsu.
bottom line, oh, help! I spelled the stupid thing correctly. Bottom line, I'm happy. I'm finally getting a TurboGrafx anyway. Granted, not the original system, but that's okay. Like I said, analog, it's worth it. Oh my God, this game $5? That can't be right. No, it's for the other system. You can find it on PC Engine.
Right.
So I'm just happy now to be able to own a TurboGrafx, so things will be very cool. And we'll see. We'll take it from there. And I can also now learn if any of these games actually work that I own.
That's very true.
For all I know, they're all duds.
And for anybody out there who has some experience with the TurboGrafx CD, if you have any games that you would like to recommend to Larry and potentially me, because I can play them on my Polymega, hit us up.
And where can they hit us up?
Oh, well, funny you should ask. You guys can hit us up on Facebook.com/RetroGamersPodcast, on Instagram at RetroGamersPodcast, on Twitter at RetroGamersPod. You can listen to us wherever you listen to podcasts. You can watch us on YouTube, and you can email us at email@theretrogamers.com. And if you're lucky, my cat will respond to you.
We'll see you at the gates of hell.
Basically.
No.
But before we go our merry ways, Larry.
No, of course.
And wrap up. I do have a bunch of retro news I want to get
That's where I was heading. Let's do it, brother.
I know. So let's just jump right into it. And I'm gonna try and go fast because it looks like we're running long today.
Yeah, it's okay.
Well, you've already brought up the Analog Pocket and Duo, so I don't have to talk about those.
You're welcome.
A couple of current news bits I wanted to share, mostly because one is a game that I play regularly and I think it's a fun bit of news, and then the other one is kind of it's going to be a new game but a throwback, and we can talk about this maybe more next week or in the coming weeks. The first one is one of the games that I play like almost every day, Dead by Daylight, which I play with my friends online all the time. It was recently announced that they're going to be adding a new survivor to the game.
Survivor.
And most of the survivors in the game, they've brought in other like characters from different games.
I think they did Ash, right?
Yeah, they did Ash from Evil Dead. They did Leon and Jill from Resident Evil. They brought in Bill from Left 4 Dead.
Oh
no, Bill from Left 4 Dead.
Yes.
A few other ones. I think Quentin from Nightmare on Elm Street, the awful remake. But now it's been announced that Dead by Daylight is bringing to its game the one and only Nicolas Cage.
That's Hysterical.
And not only is it's not a Nicolas Cage character from a movie, it's Nicolas Cage.
Well, maybe it's Nicolas Cage character from that movie he did where he played himself.
Oh, that's very true. No, I'm pretty sure it's just him.
Yeah.
So Nicolas Cage is coming to Dead by Daylight this year.
That's interesting.
I'm actually excited about it because he's also recorded audio for it. So
oh my gosh.
I'm curious to hear
yep.
not only what he says, but what sounds he's going to make when he gets injured in the game. Because knowing him, I'm sure he swung for the fences on that.
Oh, I love it.
Another bit of news that's new but retro in my mind at the same time. They announced last week. It was announced last week that we're getting a new Mortal Kombat game.
Yes.
Titled Mortal Kombat 1. And so they're going to reset the timeline for Mortal Kombat and go all the way back to the beginning. What does this mean? We don't know 100% yet. But we do know that they're resetting the timeline because the games, especially, like, I don't remember when it started. It may have started with Deception, but they started to go into the mythology, the lore, and the games actually had a story to them. And they've had a story to them for the last 20 years. And they have rebooted the timeline before, I think, with Mortal Kombat 9.
Try to pull it up right now. I'm trying to, because I saw a really good graphic, which now I can't find. They show what games are in what timeline. This would be, yes, the third timeline.
Yeah, this is going to be the third timeline with it. And basically, Liu Kang, who's like the god of fire, is the one who's going to be rebooting the timeline.
Yeah, basically, really, it's weird. It's like it's based off the end of Mortal Kombat 11 with Liu Kang.
Yes.
And then he recreates the era in his image. And then that's what causes the new timeline starting with MK1.
Correct.
So I like how they twist. It's not like they just rebooting it.
Right.
At least they're like, well, Liu Kang won Mortal Kombat 11 or whatever it was, and is like he's restarting it. So it's kind of linked to the previous game, but taking off in a new direction.
Yeah. So it's really interesting to me. And by the way, if you don't own Mortal Kombat 11 right now, it's on sale in like the PlayStation Store and stuff for $5.
Oh, it's cheap. Yeah.
Yeah. So I grabbed it yesterday.
Oh, cool.
I bought it yesterday because I was like, all right, for $5, I'll put it in my collection.
Why not?
And play it. There's a lot of pre-orders for it.
Yes, sir.
Which is interesting, ranging from just, I think it's going to be $70 for the game. But then they have like pre-order packages ranging all the way up to like $250.
Yep.
The cool thing about it, if you pre-order it, you get to play the beta version before it comes out in September, I believe. Also, if you pre-order it, you get Shang Tsung as a playable character. Yes. He's a pre-order bonus. But here's an interesting thing that popped up online. Sorry, I'm struggling a little bit with my voice. But apparently Amazon Italy, to be specific.
Wow. Italy.
May have accidentally released the list of DLC fighters that will be available in Mortal Kombat. It popped up on their website. I'm not sure if they pulled it down. I'm assuming they did. So spoilers ahead if you don't want to know.
Oh, I kind of don't want to know.
Characters are.
Uh-oh.
But it'll be interesting to know.
All right.
So the fighters mentioned on Amazon Italy's website are Quan Chi, Ermac, Takeda, I think, or is it Takeda? I don't remember.
I'm not familiar either way.
Yeah, Takeda. Anyway, those are the first three. Now, the second three are particularly interesting. And I'm very, very excited about one of them.
Okay.
So the first one is Omni-Man from the Invincibles.
the Disney cartoon?
Yeah. I don't think that's a Disney cartoon.
The Invincibles. Oh, I'm thinking of The Incredibles.
You're thinking of The Incredibles. The Invincibles is not a Disney cartoon.
What was the character's name again?
Omni-Man. OMNI-MAN.
Oh, okay. Oh, this is the show on Prime. Okay.
Yes.
So
it sounds like they made a deal with Amazon Prime. So you're getting Omni-Man.
Mm-hmm.
You're getting Peacemaker.
Ooh,
And the one that I'm most interested in, you're getting Homelander from The Boys.
that's interesting.
Now, if you haven't watched The Boys, Homelander's like
Oh,
the
yeah,
most evil, messed up version of Superman you can think of.
that's interesting.
Yeah,
Very interesting.
so if Amazon Italy did make a boo-boo and reveal those, it's just really interesting that those are on there. And then there's going to be a new format or an addition to the Mortal Kombat game where they're going to have cameo fighters. They're basically backup fighters that help you.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I read that. So you have like a secondary character that will help you, that you can call in to help you with stuff.
Hmm.
They've also announced, and this one was officially announced for sure because I read something about it, is that
Okay.
I don't know if it's a pre-order bonus or you can buy it or whatever it is, but Johnny Cage will be in the game, and as a bonus, you're going to be able to buy a skin for him that's Jean-Claude Van Damme. Now, Jean-Claude Van Damme, if we're going way back when, Jean-Claude Van Damme was originally approached when they were making the Mortal Kombat game to be Johnny Cage, but I don't know if it was filming schedules or whatever, it never worked out. So then they hired somebody else to do the mocap or the motion capture for
Yeah.
Johnny Cage. So it wasn't Van Damme. So now all these years later, like 30 years later, there'll be Jean-Claude Van Damme will finally get to play Johnny Cage through a skin, but still,
Interesting. Or maybe they'll accidentally make him look like Guile.
maybe. We'll see. Oops. So yeah, there's the news on that one.
Okay.
So few other things to no, that's not what I wanted to do. Few other things to announce. I can get rid of my sad bit of news to announce. I don't know if you saw this, but the original voice of Crash Bandicoot, Brendan O'Brien, passed away last week.
Yes.
So R.I.P. to Brendan O'Brien.
He's
Crash
young
Bandicoot.
too.
Yeah,
In his 50s,
unfortunately.
maybe?
He was 50.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was 50. Yeah, absolutely sad news. But he's got his legacy in the Crash Bandicoot
Absolutely.
series, which is great.
Absolutely.
A few other bits of news. And one other analog bit of news. This is also a bit of news for the Mister, which we know Jack loves. One of the best, in my opinion, too, one of the best Alien franchise games, is going to be available to play on the Mister and the Analog Pocket.
Ooh.
It's the Aliens arcade game.
The sequel.
Yes.
Okay.
Aliens. I don't know if you ever played that game. It was awesome. I used to play that game all the time. It's a side scroller. Think like your Double Dragons or stuff like that, but with weapons. Maybe more Contra. More Contra. Super awesome game. Highly recommended, especially since you have an Analog Pocket.
And I finally just like within the last month figured out how to finally load it up with all these games.
Well,
so
good.
Very happy.
Limited Run, you had mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
Limited Run has announced that they're going to be reissuing the Three Stooges game.
I still have this, yes.
For NES and Game Boy Advance.
Have you ever played that game?
No.
I had it on. Actually, I have it on PlayStation, and it's the exact same game on PlayStation as it was on NES as it was on Game Boy Advance. I don't even remember it being released on Game Boy Advance, but anyway, it's a very. Don't get me wrong. It is a very short game and a very repetitive game. Okay. It's basically, long story short, you got to raise money for an orphanage, which is like every episode of the Three Stooges. And what you do is you have to go around and try and earn money, and by earning money, you actually play games based on very famous scenes from Three Stooges. There's one with Curly eating the soup, and the oyster keeps eating all the chips.
Oh yes.
There's one when Larry had to get the violin so Curly can box, because he would only box when Curly played when Larry played that song. I forgot what it is. And then there's one with the three of them when they were the doctors. Dr. Fine, Dr. Howard, Dr. Fine. But it plays like a roulette style, like you don't know what game you're gonna play. But again, it is very repetitive. There's only like 5 or 6 mini games in it. But for some reason, it's just fun. So I would definitely check it out.
All right. Well, I'm probably gonna pass, but that's me.
Shocking.
Well, I'm responsible with my money. What can I say?
Okay.
Unlike some people.
Mm.
Nintendo Switch Online has announced 3 more games that they're adding to
I
their
saw this, and it's an interesting
library.
list. I
Yeah.
got some qualms about it.
So 3 Super Mario Game Boy Advance titles will be added to the service, and it will
Mm-hmm.
be Super Mario Advance, Super Mario World, Super Mario Advance 2,
Mm-hmm.
and Yoshi's Island, Super Mario Advance 3.
And just to be accurate, Super Mario Advance, Super Mario Brothers 2. So essentially,
Yes.
we're getting Super Mario Brothers 2, World, and Yoshi's Island on the Game Boy Advance version. And here's my qualm: Super Mario Advance, Super Mario Brothers 2, awesome. Like they reskinned the game.
Yeah.
So it's not like a port of Super Mario All Stars. It is completely different on its own. I mean, it still plays like Super Mario Brothers 2, our North American Super Mario Brothers 2.
Mhm.
But again, with the reskin, it looks really cool. All right, fine, excellent. But World and Yoshi's Island, as far as I remember, and Lord knows I'll be corrected if I'm wrong, but as far as
You
I
will.
remember, they didn't do anything. They just ported those games to the Game Boy Advance.
Okay.
So there might be like small tweaks, like maybe like you have to collect red coins or something in a level. But beyond that, it wasn't anything super special. Not only that, I'm pretty sure since if they're only ports, you can play them on the Super NES version
Right.
of the Switch system, and it's going to be the same game again, short of maybe something very minute. So very interesting though, because now we have the whole collection because
Right.
Super Mario Advance, Super Mario Bros. 3 is already up there.
Well, the article that I'm reading from Nintendo
Yeah.
Life is pointing out that Nintendo's PR when they released it for Super Mario Advance, the first one.
Yeah.
This Game Boy Advance version of Super Mario Bros. 2 also features added surprises
Mm-hmm.
to discover and challenges to take on, including one featuring Yoshi.
No, correct. Yeah,
And
they did
then
a lot to that one.
right, and then for Mario Advance 2, this Game Boy Advance Classic also includes the option to play the entire adventure as Luigi with his Super Mario Advance abilities.
Okay. All right. See, I forgot about that. Okay. Actually, you know what? I don't even think I own the game because I already had World.
And then for Super Mario Advance 3, which is Yoshi's Island,
Mm-hmm.
it does not point out there's anything additional.
All right. So maybe that's a direct
So
point.
maybe that one's direct.
So,
But
all right.
so there you go. But again, I mean, if you already have the service, it's included. You
Oh,
can
don't get me
play
wrong.
it.
Yeah. The game's going to show up no matter what.
Yeah.
So, but
So
I forgot about that with World. So that's cool. All right. So
yeah.
that's cool.
Another bit of news for the Nintendo Switch. If you have not heard about this, if you enjoy playing Pac-Man 99 on the Nintendo
Oh,
Switch,
yes. I saw this. Yes.
it will be shutting down this
Yep.
October. And when I say shutting down, it's just going to be the online portion of it. You can play the offline version, and you can also keep your paid content. Any paid additional content you have, you can keep, but you won't. As of October 8th, it will no longer be playable online, and you will no longer be able to purchase any of the DLC.
Yeah, it's interesting.
I don't know
With it
why
shutting
though.
down, I guess it's just maintaining servers. I don't know.
Yeah,
Maybe it's not as popular anymore.
I think
So
that's what it is. I think as it like they did this with obviously Tetris 99 as well. As
no, you can
it
still do Tetris
oh,
99.
is that still going?
That's still going. Super Mario 35 was always planned to be
Was
limited.
always supposed to be limited, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
But
Tetris
still, it's
99
weird.
is still hanging on. I
As far
guess
as I know, it is. Yeah.
I guess Pac-Man 99 just to your point, maybe less people are playing it, so they're just retiring it overall.
But still, and you can still play the 99 version, but it's going to be with all AI. So
yes. Okay, a couple other things.
Mm-hmm.
My personally one of my favorite games this year, Power Wash Simulator.
Honestly, you and Jack would Power Wash.
I'm sorry, it is awesome, and I still have to go back and do the Final Fantasy part of it. I haven't done it yet. But now you can get excited that coming this summer to Power Wash Simulator. This is actually, I think, the first paid DLC for the game, though.
Okay.
For $7.99, you can purchase the SpongeBob SquarePants Special Pack.
Oh, I might be buying this game now.
There will be 6 new maps featured that you get to Power Wash. Now, personally, if you think about it from a logical standpoint, you're going to be power washing places that live underwater.
Oh, that's
But
right.
hey, so be it. But you'll be able to power wash 6 new maps, including Conch Street, Bikini
I'm sorry. What
Bottom.
street was that again?
It's a Conch Street.
Okay.
Conch
Like
Street. Oh,
a
sorry. A
conch.
conch shell. Conch shell.
Yes.
Like
Thank you.
Conch Street. Jesus. I don't know what I'm saying. Conch. I'm sick.
Oh, I know. I said, yep.
I
Oh,
can't
trust me.
say things per
Yep.
Bikini Bottom Bus, Krusty Krab, the Paddy Wagon, the Invisible Boatmobile, and the Mermalair will all be power wash available. All
Awesome.
right. You brought up earlier, E3 is no longer happening, so everybody's doing these special showcases.
Yeah.
You can add Evercade to the list. Evercade will be having their very first showcase with new cartridge announcements on May 31st. So
I'm looking forward to that.
So if you are an Evercade fan, be on the lookout for their showcase on May 31st. Larry's gonna write it down right now.
No, just very cool because I have remember I showed the Commodore 64 collection volume 2.
Mm-hmm.
And again, what's cool about with the home version is you put 2 cartridges in at once, so you can just have double games. But what's awesome is when you put both volume 1 and volume 2 into the thing of the Commodore 64, you do get a bonus game. God help me if I remember the name of it right now, but just remember each card had 14 games on it, and when you put them both in, it said 29. It took me like 10 minutes to figure out which game it was. Nice. But it's pretty cool. So looking forward to see what they have to say.
So Evercade showcase coming May 31st. Super Mario Brothers movie, which has been breaking all kinds of records, is now available digitally. It was digitally released on May 16th. So if you did not see it in theaters, you can purchase it digitally. I think you can rent it digitally too.
No, now you can buy it.
Oh, you can just
now you can actually own it. Yeah,
you can own it digitally. But another bit of news just for record breaking. It is now officially the highest grossing movie in Mexico of all time.
Oh, all right.
Of all time.
Nice.
Just beat out Spider-Man No Way Home for the for the record.
Very cool.
And speaking of Super Mario Brothers movie, another bit of funny news that came out this week. The Super Mario Brothers movie from 1993.
Oh,
we're going
a lovable one.
Yes, the lovable 1993 movie that was absolutely terrible. A casting list was found from the original, like when the production company was originally considering who to cast for Mario and Luigi. This list of possible talent to hire to play the brothers from December 9th, 1991, right? They listed potential actors to play Mario and then potential actors that would fit with them for Luigi. Like they were pairing them up.
Yeah.
So just to share the list for fun.
Yeah.
Right? Because we wound up with Bob Hoskins and John Leguizamo.
Yes, we did.
Here are the other people they were thinking of, right? For Mario, Michael Keaton, potentially paired with one of the following 2 people for Luigi: Tom Hanks,
wow,
or Matthew Broderick.
I can almost see Matthew Broderick, but still, I can't see.
But you also got to remember Tom Hanks from the early 90s. He was still doing,
Oh, no.
I'm just comedies back then.
No, agreed. I'm just saying, like, he was still a big name, but
this was pre Forrest Gump and pre Philadelphia.
Still,
here's another one which I wouldn't ever think for Mario, but Kevin Kline.
Ooh, weird.
Would be interesting choice. Yeah, and they had him paired with the following Luigis: Tom Hanks.
Boy, they really wanted Tom Hanks.
John Leguizamo. And Christian Slater.
Ooh, Christian Slater. I don't know if I can see that type of Luigi.
I definitely can. Then they had Bob Hoskins on the list, but they paired him with Kevin Kline as Luigi and John Turturro.
John Turturro.
Okay.
Is he still trying to play chess?
Yes.
Oh, no. That was
wait. Then you have John Turturro as Mario paired with John Leguizamo or Christian Slater as Luigi. Also as a potential, Keanu Reeves.
Wow. Okay, that's a Luigi I would watch with Keanu. Here's the
Right.
weird thing, though, and no offense to Bob Hoskins, but Bob was perfect because he was short and a little chubby. I'm not saying he was fat; he was just a little
Yeah.
chubby, like Mario.
I think
Yeah,
John Turturro could have pulled that look off.
I don't know. Maybe.
Anyway, continuing on. Who's Bruno Kirby paired
I don't
with
even know who that
I
is.
don't know who that is either. Bruno Kirby paired with Christian Slater or Keanu Reeves. Joe Mantegna paired with John Leguizamo or Matthew Broderick. And then finally, my favorite, Nicolas Cage as Mario paired with John Turturro as Luigi.
You know what? Take all of my money
Can
for
you
that
imagine that
movie.
one?
Take all of
Oh
it.
my gosh. Okay. So that was just a fun thing that was
Oh,
uncovered.
this Bruno Kirby character could do it. He played a lot of like secondary parts. So,
Okay.
oh, you know who he was? Okay. Did you ever see Good Morning Vietnam?
Well, a very long time ago.
Oh, okay. He was the lieutenant there who kind
So
of
I just
button
thought
heads.
that was fun to share. And then the very last bit of news. I know we've been going on forever today. Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening for the Game Boy.
Great game.
Great game.
Better than Tears of the Kingdom.
No. So Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening. It was recently discovered, I guess, because I've never heard of this, and now people are just reporting on it. The German version of the game, specifically the German version of Link's Awakening,
Okay.
features a hidden Hylian techno remix of the theme.
Ooh.
If you change Link's name to the word, I don't know how to say this name because it's the name of the German localizer of the game.
Okay.
So that if you put Link's name in the game as Moise or Moisey, Moyse, you get a techno remix of the Link's Awakening theme. Now I'm gonna share my screen and play it.
Oh, okay.
Because they have it on Twitter. Although I'm gonna be showing you a website called Time Extension. Can you see my screen?
I can. Yes.
Right. So it's gonna play the Link's Awakening theme originally, and then it's gonna have
I gotcha.
the name put in. So this is the standard one.
Yeah.
Watch what happens when you put in the name. Listen. So it's typing in the name Moyse. So
that's interesting.
Right? Isn't that just crazy?
That's loud. But very interesting.
Very loud. So
all right. That's
just
cool.
Just a funny thing to be.
Yeah, that was cool.
Interesting and random.
And those Germans.
Yeah, that's all I have for retro news.
All right. Well, with that, we will wrap it up then. Very good episode. Before we wrap it up, as always, Ant, where can they find us and send us those screenshots of Batman?
Yes, you guys can find us at facebook.com/retrogamerspodcast, on Instagram at retrogamerspodcast, on Twitter at retrogamerspod. You can listen to us wherever you listen to podcasts. You can watch us on YouTube at retrogamerspodcast, or you can email us at email@theretrogamers.com. And since Larry brought it up, it just gave me a good idea too. If you want to email us screenshots of the game of the week that we plan on playing, we may or may not, if we see it in time, put it on our show.
Oh, of course. Yeah, absolutely. So very cool. All right. Ant, have a good week.
You have a good week as well.
Folks, we'll catch you everywhere next week on the Retro Gamers Podcast.